Hey guys! It's the Albino Rhino beer review time. Let's see what we got in the cupboard, shall we? What? Oh. Oh. Oh, eeny, meeny, miny, mo. Okay, we got our beer for the day. Apparently I set the dogs off. Got my beer, but I set the dogs off. So today, we're drinking a beer that I don't know much about the brewery, to the point that I was actually curious if this brewery is like fine company beer, in that was it owned by a big guy. It's Brewster's Brewing Company in Calgary, Alberta, Canada. Excuse me. Does that say customer? Sorry guys, 1 second. Oh, it's customer service, brewsters.ca. Unpasteurized, keep refrigerated. Okay, well, if it's unpasteurized, it's most likely not big guys. So, and again, it's not that I was saying Brewster's is a big guy. I just picked it up and I'm like, who is Brewster's? I've never heard of Brewster's. I thought I had read that it was Edmonton, but it says Calgary here. In beer we trust. In beer we trust. 57th Street Peach Ale. 5% alcohol by volume. Proudly brewed in Alberta, so it's a peach blonde ale. Okay. So I guess locally brewed since, is that 89 or 09? Sorry, my eyes are horrendous. I think that says 09? And again, if you work for Brewster's or you're a big fan of Brewster's, I'm sorry. I came from Ontario, and I really left the beer scene for the most part 6 years ago. Yeah, and it's been a while growing back into things, right? And then going into the Arctic, I could get some stuff from Montreal shipped up for exorbitant amounts of money, and then after Quebec, I went to Deer Lake First Nations, which was a dry reserve, so I was out of the beer industry really again, and then I moved to a province I've never lived in, right? And I came upon all these new breweries, and Brewster's is one of them, because, I mean, there is a lot of breweries from Manitoba and Alberta I did not know existed. Because the only stuff I really saw was either the really big stuff, like Big Rock, or stuff that was sent to me by, like, Dan or others that lived in Alberta that I would do beer trades with, Jordan, Lee Methot, lots of guys that I would get beer from, so I would see breweries that were local to them, but I had never known about a lot of these places. And I'm only learning about them now, so and the case was very nonchalant. But I should have known, like, I don't know, is Brewster's a brew pub? Is that, because the case, like I said, the case looked like it could have been a big guy's case. But the case also kind of reminded me of, like, Brasseur de Montreal's beers and stuff like that. So it would have made sense to still possibly be a small guy, but doing whatever you're doing, right? Like, so we got a peach blonde ale. We'll sniff the can first. When I get a peach beer, I kind of hope to get almost like Tim Hortons peach drink. But I'm just getting a nonchalant sweetness out of the can, out of the glass. that does not smell great. That doesn't mean it's going to taste bad. A lot of times it'll either taste great but smell horrible, or smell horrible but taste great. So, I mean, I said the exact same thing there, didn't I? It can smell great and taste horrible, or taste great and smell horrible. So, I mean, it's just what your senses are picking up in the paradigms, right? I'm getting the same sweetness I got from the can, but I'm getting like, and the reason I'm saying it's not smelling great is I'm getting a nonchalant, weird bitterness on the nose. Anyway, it's lunch, eh? I'm just looking. It is unpasteurized, so maybe. I'm curious if there's sulfites in it, because it's almost giving off like that dirty, somewhat latex, rubbery flavor on the back end that I get when I drink a cider or anything like that, all the way down to those honeybee, prairie bee meads. Because sulfites and mead don't get along, and it has a flavor in the back end that reminds me of sulfites. And to be a fruit beer that's unpasteurized, that could be there, or because I can't find an ingredient on here, but I am fucking blind, and this color is not great for me. Excuse me. I can't tell if it's peach or peach flavoring. Because if it's peach flavoring, that could be part of what I'm tasting as well. Well, it says down here, ale with peaches, so I would think that it's not peach flavoring, but that does mean that it could be, since it's not pasteurized, substituted with a fortification of sulfites. Or the type of hops and the type of malts they use just are giving me a weird, bitter, strange flavor on the back end that I'm just not a fan of. Does that mean I'm not a fan of the beer? No, I actually think this is a fairly well-made beer. I don't love it. I wouldn't pay for it again. That's where I'm coming from here. Is I wouldn't pay for this beer again. I wouldn't have a problem drinking this beer. If somebody else was to buy a case of it and bring it over, I'd be like, hey, whatever, let's try the beer. But if you're going to try and well, if you were to ever ask me, hey Chad, would you go out and spend your hard-earned money on that beer ever again? The answer is no. But again, I'm Irish and I like beer, so if somebody else bought it, I don't really have a complaint about it. I just wouldn't pay for it myself. So all that being said, probably a 6 out of 10. Still a solid beer. It's a passing grade. Try it if you haven't. Thank you guys. Bye-bye.